Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I posted on the Foxy Fix group as well as my Instagram a couple of days ago that I had recently gotten creative with a stain that happened on my Foxy Fix Ombré pixie dust. Basically what happened is I picked it up about a week ago, noticed it had this big splotchy stain on it, and it didn't really feel like it was something that was sitting on top of the leather. Like, it didn't feel like I had spilled something or anything. It definitely felt like it was embedded in there, and I tried a couple different things to kind of try to clean it out. Nothing really worked. So what I decided to do, instead of getting upset over it and getting mad and whatnot, I got creative and I decided to turn it into something that could then become something I loved again. Doing this kind of things with planners and whatnot always scares me because I hate messing things up when it comes to how my cover looks. Generally, I tend to be a perfectionist unless I purchase a leather knowing that it's going to be wore down, you know, messed with, like the Mr. Darcy. I know this is going to get scratched. I know this is going to become a little bit more of a well-worn type of cover in the nature of the leather, which I'm fine with because that's the purpose. It's going to be an everyday carry. I want to see it kind of get worn down. However, when I bought these because obviously based on the color and based on the structure, I wanted them to stay in pristine condition. However, life happens. It did not stay that way, so I adapted. I did get quite a few requests and messages to kind of show you guys what I did with it, so that way you could either do it for yourself or you could just see what I had done with mine. So basically all I did was I got a sheet of watercolor paper. This is just Canson XL. You could literally use any type of cardstock you want, or you could use a cloth, whatever. This just happened to be on my desk at the time. And I spread it out. I took the books out when I did mine. This was optional. You could take out the string. I chose not to just because I could easily move it around. However, we are dealing with inks as well as things that obviously strip color. So if you want to remove them and you're scared, I totally recommend it. I just didn't for when I did mine. So what I started with was I did a few test dabs with my colorless blender. Copic marker, and this is more or less to see how the color maintained after 24 hours. It faded nice. You can see a few of the dots on there that I did. It all melts into one now, but so I did that. I saw it was okay. Ran my fingers across it quite carefully to make sure that nothing got on my fingers, and then once I saw that that was okay, what I did was I actually took my full bottle of colorless blender ink. And again, you could probably get away with using anything that is like alcohol type thing, like the clear alcohol. This I've used on other things like this before and it's been fine, like afterwards. I can't speak to other brands of this because I honestly don't know how it's gonna work. This I know I've used on tester leathers before when I bought cheaper planners just to see how this look would come out, so I knew it would be fine. So what I basically did was I took off the lid. It's got a tiny little spout. I covered part of it and I just started going like this over the whole thing. I let a little bit of it obviously show. I didn't right now because it is finished. And then I let it sit for probably 30 to 40 seconds, and then I took a cloth and gently dabbed it. Don't wipe it, don't scrub it, just dab it. And then I left it for about 20 minutes or so, came back, did the process again. Then I used a dropper to make some more precise spots, so that way it didn't all look like it was splatters. It looked more like a bubbly theme, I guess. And then I left that for about 24 hours on its own, just to let it fully set, make sure all of the ink, the alcohol blender that I put on it was fully dry. And then what I did was, I'm opening and closing this repeatedly, my apologies. Then what I did was I wanted to kind of distress the edges because the staining itself wasn't fully covered. However, I knew that the distress edges was going to come after I did the color the splendor part of it. I decided to use My Favorite Things Hybrid Ink Refill. This is meant to go with their ink pads. I do think I have one here. Yep. They're meant to fill these ink pads here. This isn't the same color. This is the black ink, and this is steel gray, so it's a little bit of a bluer gray versus this, which is obviously black. You could go on with your ink pad, which is what I was debating on doing when I first attempted this. But what I actually decided to do was I grabbed a clean cloth, one that I wasn't worried about destroying or whatnot. You could also probably use paper towel or some toilet paper, anything really that isn't too heavily paper fibered, because you don't want to get it stuck in the ink with all the fiber on it. So just be cognitive of that if you're going to be using paper towel and whatnot. And then all I did was I smacked it down on each area, kind of building it up as I went along. I just kept going around it a couple of times, threw a couple extras here and there just to kind of make it all cohesive. And then once I was done, again, I left it on its own for 24 hours. If you use this ink, it will look like it has a sheen when it first goes on. It will look like it's not sinking in. So leave it alone. Don't mess with it. That's how you will wreck it. Genuinely leave it for 24 hours roughly before you go in and try it again. Okay? And then once it's done, as you can see, I'm rubbing my hand across all of it. No problems. Nothing has come up. It's all sitting on there. Super nice. I think I might go through and kind of continue to stress the further edges, just that way it's a little bit more cohesive that way, but I'm not 100% sure because I know it's taking to the front of the hide just fine. I don't know if it'll take to this part as well, but I just wanted to show you guys because I did get quite a few requests to see what it looked like and just to see how I had done the process. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. If you have any comments, again, feel free to comment. Thank you for watching and have yourself an excellent weekend, guys. Bye!